All right, folks, it's Ukraine in the motherfucking membrane. Here we go. It's the News Underground, folks. I am Abandoned Nihilism, and it's everyone's favorite section. Ukraine news. Putin getting shit on, as usual, but the big question is Bakhmut. Can we do it? Can we do it in Bakhmut? Can Bakhmut hold? And I understand if Bakhmut is able to hold, wow, right? It would basically mean like Wagner is, you know, done for. I mean, would the Russian government, you know, even put money into Wagner if they were actually defeated in Bakhmut? I don't know, but that's the big question. Are we gonna be able to do it in Bakhmut? And look, I've seen a lot of hedging, a lot of preparation for the loss of Bakhmut, saying, "Hey, it's not that big a deal." The fact is, the Russian sycophants, the hammer and sickle idiots, the weapons, the bad actors are going to jump on Bakhmut and turn it into, yeah, you see, Ukraine should have just given up. Just give up. It's hopeless. You're never going to win. Just give up. That's what they're going to want to turn a defeat in Bakhmut into. We know the truth. I mean, and of course, I'm going to show you Russian propagandists who know the truth. That, yeah, I mean, sure, we took Bakhmut, but if it's going to take just as long and just as much resources to take the next town as it did in Bakhmut, yeah, we've lost. This is completely pointless, right? They're getting like, they have to sacrifice hundreds of men just to get a couple inches. Piles of dead bodies, fields of dead bodies. I'm not being hyperbolic. Whole fields of them, 50 dead bodies in one picture I saw. The POV battle footage that I'm going to show you is mind-rockingly nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's a fucking slaughter. And young, ignorant Russian boys, barely out of teenage years, and some of them teenagers. So young, so impressionable, have no idea what they're fighting for, and they get fucking slaughtered, folks. Davey showed a video in the Discord that was absolutely disgusting. There's a guy who's clearly been shot in the head, right? He's got like the bullet wound through his cheek, right? He's just lying there, hoping for medical evac that isn't coming. Drone swoops down, drops a grenade right on his fucking neck. And he like pushes it off and it blows up, but it blows up behind him and kills him. Right? It's just, you gotta get out of there. You gotta get the fuck out of there. They don't drop their weapons. They don't put up a fucking I give up flag. They don't surrender. I don't know what is pushing these Russians. I do have to give these poor bastards credit that, you know, commander tells them to go out there and die and shoot, and they do it. We're seeing, and Dennis is correct, we are seeing a lot of sabotage, you know, by Russians. Recent video of a Russian soldier. I've seen that video as well. Let me describe the video that Davey's talking about. Drone is dropping a grenade, and initially you can't see this guy because he's kind of at the entrance of a trench. So he's kind of covered, and he's kind of at this entrance. There's a dead body already at the entrance, and the drone drops a grenade, and then the drone gets closer down, and the guy just takes his gun, lines it up, you know, lines it up and shoots himself right in the head. I mean, do you think the Russians are going to remember that guy? You think the Russians are going to remember that guy? No, and Chad Mary is correct. I've heard reports of Russians at the hospital. They're at the hospital healing, and then a representative from the government will harass them or sometimes execute them because they didn't do a good enough job, right? Unverified though, but that I did hear that a couple days ago. That did happen. I actually no. I have audio from a Russian speaking to his mother. Yeah, I think that's what I have. I have audio of a Russian speaking to his mother about that incident. Anyway, let's get to it. We got a lot to cover with Ukraine. Fighters of the 71st Jaeger Brigade defended the city of Chasiv Yar in the Donbass, preventing Russians from cutting the supply line to Bakhmut. Yeah, Lenny, yeah. Well, I'm going to be playing it here. One of the heroes here is the commander of the special purpose group, Petro, call sign Kharkiv, who went to his position immediately after giving the interview. During an assault, he was wounded in the head, but continued destroying the enemy, throwing 2 grenades in the enemy dugout and opening fire with small arms. Homeboy busted out his secondary. Ho, ho, ho. Homeboy busted out the secondary, dog. I better get my censorship button ready. Enemy at the Gates is a great movie. Okay. And look, I don't want to take away, like, I wish Russia, you know, wasn't doing this, it wasn't sacrifice, because, like, if this sacrifice was, you know, against Nazism or against, you know, against a real foe, it would be incredibly heroic what the Russian soldiers are doing. But in the face of the context that we're presented with, that they're clear invaders for an invasion for someone's ego, it is a shameful and tragic loss of life that is so wildly unnecessary. You know, that if there really was justice in the world, that, you know, that was divine, right? If there was just natural justice that human beings didn't have to create, like, you know, Putin would, right? You know, it would just, he would have some kind of justice, some kind of, you know, some kind of comeuppance, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happen. Look at the polls in Russia. I mean, people are either totally ambivalent or they're pro, you know, because they're scared. We will be showing some people in Russia dissenting against this, but I don't think there's enough public anger at all the deaths yet. Kind of a Russia appeaser, really, Daddy Dennis. I mean, that. I mean, logically, technically, if you want to technically save more lives, you would capitulate to Russia, who would then secure Donbass and the Crimea, create a line, rest, and then, you know, try to take Kyiv a little bit later. But technically, you'd save lives by just letting Russia get what it wants, right? And I'm sure there won't be any ramifications to that action in the future, right? That's not teaching Russia any kind of lessons. Everything's just going to be A-okay after that. Once Russia just has full control of the Donbass and moves all their troops and bases right to the borders, give them back Kharkiv, they'll move everything right to the border, and everything's just going to be A-okay, right? Doesn't seem like a good idea.
Оказывали помощь. Ребята стоят насмерть, тяжело. Есть молодые, которые еще не обстрелянные. Подразделения уморить. Заменяются, уходят новые, приходят. Работаем.
You think Russia would stop at Donbass? I don't think so. I think they would pretend to stop and they would catch their breath and they'd have a massive military buildup and then they'd wait for another opportunity to take Kyiv and then they would do it. I think that would be an incredible military mistake. No, I mean, the most powerful message would be pushing Russia to its borders and then holding those borders and not, you know, not pushing into Russia and then lifting sanctions, right, eventually. That would be the most powerful message, that we're seriously not, you know, we don't take your threats seriously. We don't take your supposed power seriously. We're literally just going to nudge you out of the way and then proceed with our lives. That is the most powerful message against Russia. Of course, that will probably not play out. Putin does not want to give up Crimea, and we might see something escalatory happen if Ukraine does look successful in heading into Crimea. They might go for Crimea first. There's a lot of speculation that, they're going to do Donbass first. Yeah, the smart move is to go into Crimea because of how fucked that Crimean bridge is. That's the smart move. is to push them right against that barrier against the fucking the Black Sea. Push the Russian troops up against that. They have nowhere to go. That's the smart move, right? To go down from Mariupol, right? Bro, I want this job so bad. I'm sorry. I want this job so bad. Kids are so lucky nowadays. They get to kill people with drones. Kids are so lucky nowadays with all their technology. Get to kill people with drones and stuff.
Різні завдання бувають. Буває зайняти позицію, буває утримувати позицію.
Take a
буває
position,
відбити
hold a
позицію,
position, take a position.
буває штурмувати. Все є.
Успешно получается.
Ну, з перемінним успіхом буває, звісно.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Все, да, все хватає.
Chem
Бувають,
Goblin.
конечно, і потері, буває все. Так що, це війна. Ну, безтолкові взагалі. Просто
Oh,
безтолкові.
Censor.
Ну, от штурмовики, які приходили до нас, вони йдуть з 4 рожками, 5-й в автоматі. І вони дійшли вже почти до нас, вони повні.
Oh yeah, he's getting shot up. Nope.
Тобто,
I can't show that.
Тобто, як вони
Nope.
прийшли сюди, і що вони робили, і що вони собирались зробити.
Man,
Yeah,
God, this is sad.
Безстолочь.
That's so sad.
Тобто, вони ж як бродяча собака, особливо це ніч починається. Ходять ж просто так, своїм пішком.
And just give
Може
up.
зайти, постоять. Було таке, що от зайшло 2-3 чоловіка.
Oh man. Oh, that's rough.
Артилерію нашу. Положив один,
No.
второй, третій. Поки на них не вивів.
It's, I can't show you what I'm looking at right now. He's shooting into the trench. The soldier that was peeking out of the trench was blown up with a grenade,
Їх розбило.
and now he's finishing the job, clearing out that trench. That was just Russia. Go home, please. Please make this stop.
Поматюкались, руками помахали, один десь ушов. Я думаю, у них мотивує та безпонтова жизнь.
The useless life at home.
Тобто вони просто, безтолочі. Тобто люди, щоб не спитися
A lot of these guys, are coming from broken homes, coming from poor homes. Maybe they're not broken; they have a family, right? But it's very poor homes. Think of what the U.S. does when it's recruiting. It doesn't go to San Francisco. No, it goes into rural Kentucky, right, and goes to the school, right? So same thing with Russia. The people in Moscow, they don't get put into the war.
в своєму селі, вони вже, хрен з ним вже підуть десь там, повоюють.
Місія,
там,
да?
Тобто вони просто, у них тупиковий ветрозвиття. Тобто вони просто, вони, блядь, вроді люди.
Look, this is clear dehumanization of an enemy, but this soldier, to be a soldier, you have to do that to survive. So I never give shit to soldiers who dehumanize the people that they're shooting. It's literally the only way to survive out there. With that said, politicians should not also enjoy dehumanizing the enemy, which is what causes these wars, right? So, but soldiers putting his nuts on the line out there, he's got to cope however he can cope, and dehumanizing your enemy is probably one of the only ways you can fill them full of lead so mercilessly.
Руки, ноги, голова, все. Ти підходиш до них, це просто ужас.
Бойовий дух високий, але він високий за рахунок внутрішньої ситуації.
My name is Abandoned
Тобто за рахунок
Nihilism.
того, що воюємо, виходить, забезпечуємо, і хлопці готові далі йти. В принципі, несуть колосальні втрати, тому що вони не рахують своїх людей. Ось, наприклад, одна посадка. Одною тою самою дорогою вони йдуть по ці посадки. Зрозуміло, що там видимість обмежена через те, що це посадка, горби, там все вистріляно. Але вони йдуть одною тою самою дорогою, і 3 доби ми їх просто...
So yeah, he's just talking about how they'll slaughtered on the road. They'll be annihilated, and then the commander just sends more troops across the same road. It's super depressing.
Один за одним,
They're not even learning from their mistakes. They don't care about their own preservation. They're not preserving their own troops.
Трупи біля окопів валяються. Близько 15. По аеророзвідки, які було, там більше 50. Тому тут я вважаю, на такому маленькому...
Oh, that's interesting, Chem Goblin. Delivering batteries, huh?
В рази більше, ніж у нас. В перемозі я не сумніваюсь, ну в нас просто немає іншого виходу. Так мені тільки цікаво, коли вона буде. Не знаю чому, але чогось до своєї роботи десантники відносяться найбільш відповідально. Тобто,
I don't know why. After
догляді за
weapons.
зброєю, в догляді за людьми. Всі роблять одну роботу, і є хлопці, навіть ми були коли підопитним, стикалися з хлопцями з ТРО, то я взагалі на них дивився з такими очима, в мене очі копійками. Мужики такі по 50, по 53 роки, ну охотники такі, ну просто охотники, але вони там таке чудили, таке витворяли. Наскільки високий бойовий дух, ну там танки просто розбирає будівлю, ми сидимо.
Jesus
А
Christ.
він навіть в
He didn't flinch.
підвал не хоче спускатися, він каже, я хочу підерів на першому поверсі. Тому тут...
Зустріти?
Да,
They're
на
not gonna
першому
do
поверсі,
shit.
каже, буду їх, каже,
Line
буду їх
cut.
крушити.
Let's be real.
Да.
They're not gonna do
Напрямок
shit.
дуже
Fucking Putin could land in Brussels today. Ain't no one arresting Putin. Let's be real. Right? If the ICC was serious, then Dick Cheney would have been arrested. Dick Cheney's fucking, you know, what's his nuts? Fucking Dr. Strangelove is somehow still alive. Henry Kissinger, right? His ass should have been hauled away by the ICC. No one takes the ICC seriously. They should. And ICC is the right direction. I don't mean to be shitting on the effort. We should be doing everything we can to document and call out war criminals. But war criminals are not afraid of the ICC. And that should not be the case. But that is the case, unfortunately.
Складний, бо тому що ворог
It's
намагається
sad. I
контролювати
agree.
шлях під'їзду до Бахмута. І це така стратегічно важливий
Yeah,
напрямок.
rootin' tootin'. I
Ворог
don't.
штурмує
You want to
нас
be one of those
кожного дня по
deputies?
декілька раз. Ми, я сподіваюся, з
My name
великою
is Abandoned
ефективністю
Nihilism.
відбиваємо всі його
Thank you,
так
Daddy
сказати,
Dennis.
дії. Ну, єгеря із єгеря. Єгерями широкопрофільного застосування. Ми ведемо бій в населеній місцевості, ми ведемо бій в лісах, ведемо бій в посадках і тому подібне. Тобто нас
I've created
використовують.
this
Ми
persona
ще
called
тільки не
Abandoned
десантувалися
Nihilism
з літаків,
for the sole
так
purpose of
майже,
what
і не
I've described
плавали під
earlier.
водою. А так скрізь ми застосовувалися в різних урбаністичних місцевостях від населеного пункту до поля, до посадки, лісу ми скрізь застосовувалися. Ціль привести до перемогу нашої країни, захистити наших рідних, близьких.
Fucking absolute badasses, dude.
Всім миру і благополуччя.
That's correct, Cam Goblin. I used to wear a mask to further accentuate the fact that I was a different character, but people didn't really understand what I was trying to get at with that, so I had to drop the mask. It was never about protecting my identity. It's about creating something.
Багато там
Man, they just give Russians a fucking serial number, dude. It's so sad. They don't even put his fucking name on the tag. They just give him a number, like an asset tag. It was weird. No, Davey, it was weird. I think I started in 2019, Chad Mary. I do. It's right over there. I do. I bust out the mask once in a while. Perfectly fine, Daddy Dennis.
Тобто це хлопці, які стояли на позиції, які мають відпочити.
Так.
Can I see? Not today. When I do a gaming stream, I'll bust out the masks when we have some fun, okay?
Там на місці. Так.
Ну, сьогодні поранених не було.
Пока БПП пока не было.
Well, you're a very smart individual, Davey. So that doesn't surprise me.
Ну що, все добре?
I don't remember information like that, unfortunately. I don't retain information quite like that. Big glitch.
Перші дні було дуже тяжко. Приїхала повністю кулеметна група всім складом. Група групи
Yeah, line cut.
строті. Ну, поки це все налагодили, зійшли на
Oh,
позиції.
really, Lenny? That's interesting. It
Ну,
was
тяжко.
COVID that
Связь
brought you to
толком не
Twitch, huh?
працювала. Потім поставили вже ретрик, вже все налагодилось. Під'їхали. Решта, ну, почали працювати по плану.
Davey, you're doxing yourself, buddy. Nerd. Oh, that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut. That is such a deep cut. Is that you, Zio Duke? Someone, OG of the channel, someone who's been watching for quite a while, back when I was wearing the hockey mask, was calling me Nerd Jason, which is absolutely hilarious. Fucking hilarious. That's a deep cut. We got some OGs on this channel. We got some real OGs on this channel. Love to see it. So people, that's so funny. Nerd fucking Jason. I love it. So people are saying, you know, Chem Goblin was saying that this is Putin limping. I don't know if it's limping, but it does. It's like, you know, it does appear like he's, you know, he's kind of walking like when you sit down for like, you know, 10 hours and you finally get up and you're like walking around. There definitely does seem to be something uncomfortable about how he's walking. I don't know about a limp. You tell me what you think. No, I know, Chem Goblin. I'm just trying to start a conversation. It's Putin readjusting his mask. He doesn't fit in his human suit very well. But I don't know. You tell me if he's limping. I can kind of, yeah. He's kind of like putting a lot of weight on the right foot there. Okay, yeah. No, I know, Chem Goblin. Thank you for clarifying, though. Watch, he moves his face. Wait a minute. No. You know, the lighting kind of does make it look like he's like wearing like a weird mask, but that mask is that would be an amazing mask. No. And he's not adjusting his mask. If you see right there, he's like adjusting his collar or something. He's moving his The lighting though kind of makes it look like there's a clear separation between his face and his head. Oh wow. That is fucking funny. It's the double. Pootler doesn't swing right arm. Oh fuck. Body double? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Wanted to show a hero here. Wanted to present a hero, everybody. Just get my music in my ears down a bit. Body double poorly acting out his walking style. He's too tall. You guys are nuts. Anyway, I wanted to show a real hero here. It's good, and I also wanted to remind people that you know, the war, Ukraine started its war with Russia 9 years ago. That this has been an ongoing. They've never, you know, the rest of the world accepted that Russia owns Crimea. Oh, it's theirs now. They did it. I don't know. Ukraine never accepted Russia's illegal land grabs, and it's really nice to see the international community retroactively accept that Russia did not successfully take Crimea or the Donbass. But on this day, 9 years ago, 36-year-old Ensign Serhiy Kokurin was the first Ukrainian soldier to fall in the war with Russia. On March 18th, 2014, he was a sentry on the tower of the 13th Photogrammic Center in Simferopol, which was stormed by Gherkin's detachments. Kokurin entered into a shootout with the invaders. He was the first one to die. So, you know, I'm sorry, RIP, but congratulations to a real hero. And, you know, I mean, you know, how to even respond? Like, holy shit, am I getting it? Or is my country getting invaded? You know what I mean? Like you're going through your head every single day, this scenario, oh, they could come any moment. And then they show up. And you got like, I'm the first line of defense. I'm going to fight it out to the very fucking end. And that's exactly what he did. So, absolute hero. RIP. I try to get 2 streams in a week. Chad Mary. One during the week and one during the weekend. Moving on. Well, we got to get a couple of these in. These absolute fucking clowns. I would like to grain of salt, though, I would like to point out that these people are not spokespeople for the government per se. Of course, they're repeating government narratives. The government does have a narrative that they would like them to push, but some of the statements that they make, you know, like about, oh, we're going to nuke UK, right? There was a headline news about one of these assholes saying, oh, let's attack the UK, let's invade the UK. Let's not get mixed up, because, like, think about it, folks. Does everything Tucker Carlson say about, you know, what America's going to do or what America's intentions are or any of that shit, does that represent what the American government is actually going to do? Right? So it's kind of similar. It's different because there's no alternative media in Russia, right? So it's not exactly the same. But I just don't want people to get hung up with what these extremists say and what is actually happening on the ground, because these people are fucking bananas. They're absolutely, I mean, the shit they say is absolutely insane. Okay, yeah, so Function, Mr. Function. Is Russia justified in the invasion of Ukraine? Is Russia justified in disregarding Ukraine's sovereignty and invading? So here we go. In this video, Russian propagandists wonder whether losses of Russian soldiers in Bakhmut. Of course not. What the fuck? Okay. Hey, I'm just trying to, it's the question I ask everybody to make sure that they're not bad actors. Function. It's a necessary question nowadays. I'm sure you've been on social media the last year. It's a necessary question. In this video, Russian propagandists wonder whether losses of Russian soldiers in Bakhmut are worth it, and admit it would take them months to reach Slovensk if they were to take Bakhmut, and then ask what's next. What's interesting is the pushback, right? So this guy is often, he's kind of the, what is that, Hannity and Colmes. Remember Colmes? He was the liberal punching bag that Hannity used to use on his channel to shit on, right? He would always present his arguments very meekishly and kind of there to make liberals look bad, but also, you know, to pretend like there was some kind of partisan, you know, non-partisanship. Like, you see, we're getting all both sides. So I think that's what his kind of role is in this propaganda, is to kind of present, well, you know, this is what they're saying, right? To kind of make it appear like they're having, you know, an honest conversation about this. Alan Colmes. Remember that fucking guy? Oh my God. I mean, like, almost literally a straw man. I think he was actually filled with straw. You know what I mean? Colmes. All right, let's have a listen here. Pretty close to the pronunciation on that one. Slovensk? Oh, I fucked it up, didn't I? Oh, he passed away, huh? Well, I'm not gonna cheer on his death, but I'm not exactly gonna remember his legacy as being a positive one either. So, moving on. Was that Russia was ready to a certain number of casualties? You're going to see a lot of hedging. He's got to make sure that he can't criticize the Russian army. It's literally illegal. He can't criticize Putin, so he's got to do a bunch of hedging to make this argument. So that's what you're seeing here.
Значит, правило, то есть, Александр Юрьевич, ты хочешь сказать, что России было не жалко людей в Грозном, но жалко людей, оставшихся несколько тысяч человек в Бахмуте?
Я не собираюсь сравнивать ни с Афганистаном, ни с Чечней. Я говорю про сегодняшнюю, про специальную военную операцию. Были выставлены жесткие правила, и мы эти правила соблюдаем. Мы мирные, не боимся.
Виктор, согласитесь, что сравнивать действительно ельцинскую Россию времен первой чеченской кампании и нынешнюю Россию...
Я абсолютно не согласен с тем, что российское руководство намерено ради того, чтобы сохранить жизни. Я сейчас не говорю о том, что правильно и неправильно. Я абсолютно не согласен с тем, что российское руководство ради того, чтобы сохранить жизни нескольких тысяч оставшихся людей в Артемовске, готово пожертвовать сотнями и сотнями жизней российских солдат.
He's talking about liberating Bakhmut, saving the people in Bakhmut, right? There's not even that many people to save. What do we... He's trying desperately to frame this in the reality that Russia needs to exist, right? He's doing all kinds of fucking gymnastics right now.
Нет, это Есть стратегия сохранить жизни российских солдат. Да, Россия не хочет и не собирается участвовать в геноцидальных каких-то...
Хорошо,
No.
давайте, а то мы увязли немножко в этом споре. Ваш прогноз, вот дальше-то что в ближайшее
Ваш
время?
прогноз.
Дело в том, что есть еще вопрос по Донбассу такой. Вот было бы интересно, если бы кто-то на него ответил. Россия берет Артемовск, дальше направляется уже ближе там Краматорск, Славянск. Это процесс возьмет,
Славянск.
скорее всего, много месяцев. Когда дойдем туда, все эти территории будут простреливаться теми же ракетами и снарядами. Эти военные действия могут продолжаться месяцами и годами. Какова дальнейшая стратегия?
If it's going to take the same amount of time it took them to take Bakhmut, it's going to be hundreds of thousands. I mean, come on, man. How many people got to die to get over there now? I mean, Wagner almost is almost completely exhausted like all of their resources. They've done everything they can to surround Bakhmut. And then once they take Bakhmut, what's the very next minute, it's going to be, okay, heading on over to the next place. Really? Does the Russian military really have the motivation and momentum to secure that?
России по защите Донбасса.
Лавров про это уже говорил, вам президент про это говорил.
Что мы продвинемся еще на 300 километров.
Он не говорит, что мы продвинемся. Мы должны
They're speaking Russian. I see.
вооружение, чтобы они не доставали до населенных
Если мы больше чем за год не смогли предотвратить участившиеся атаки на Донецк, сколько лет нам займет?
Хорошо,
He makes a good point.
Повторению пройденного.
Russia's perfectly fine though waiting this out. They would be perfectly fine if they can afford it and the international community is going to ignore them. They would be perfectly fine having a decades-long war. I mean, look at all the time they already invested into Donbass and Crimea. I mean, it's been a hot war in Donbass since they rolled in there. And they're desperately trying to convince everybody that it was Ukraine bombing citizens in the Donbass, and I do believe some citizens were bombed in the Donbass, but the intention of Ukraine bombing those places was not to attack citizens. It was to defend itself against the Russian military that was rolling in and occupying. Of course, the international community did not agree with that assessment when it was happening. They now retroactively agree with it, which is interesting. Seaman, that's his name. His name is Seaman. It's a good name. Feel bad. Like Chinese people named Wong, it's like, oh, or Dong. Dong, yeah, poor Dong. I feel bad for the Dongs of the world that live in the United States. But I think I feel worse for the Siemens. I think I feel worse for the Siemens of the world. Seaman Bagdasarov, Russian member of parliament, suggested making use of the catastrophe in Turkey caused by the earthquakes, take Istanbul from them and join it to Russia. So this is what I'm talking about. This fantasy talk. Let's remember, this isn't the Russian government saying this. This is just red meat for their audience. Like I said, Tucker Carlson says insane things that most Americans would wildly disagree with. And I have to agree that this was in that realm. Who in their right mind? It's like Turkey's an ally. Turkey's a fucking ally to Russia right now. And they're like, oh yeah, we should take it while they're, we should kick them while they're down and take it over. I mean, God help us all if there are people in the Russian government who take this shit seriously.
Сейчас находится в тяжелом положении. Давайте воспользуемся. Изгоним ее из Средней Азии, расколем ее влияние на Украине, выгоним с Южного Кавказа и поднимем определенные силы в Турции.
Okay,
и
Hitler.
Вернем в состав нашего государства то, что исторически принадлежит нам. Константинополь! Над храмом Святой Софии воздвинем крест. Кстати, поставь нам в конце храм Святой Софии фрески, которые уже спрятаны от людей, и музыку, молитву на арамейском языке. Можете на русском. Подготовьте. Может, хватит? Вернем все это себе. Они считают юг России ихний, значительная часть там положена, это ихняя, Сибирь ихняя, а мы почему не считаем, то, что действительно это никогда ихняя не было. Турок, это не тюрк.
Bro, you have to win you have to win before you start talking about invading another country. The Nazis were winning when Hitler opened up a second front, right? At least on paper. They were looking pretty good, right? Russia is getting its ass spanked like a toddler in Kmart, And these guys are all like, yeah, that's great. Let's go. Oh, we took Ukraine and we're going to take the world. What are you fucking smoking? Please tell me, dude. I got to get on that shit.
Зеркало пусть посмотрят, что есть между турком, значит, якутом, киргизом и казахом. Да ни черта общего нет. Это все, что я бы сказал, китайцы. Ну, не китайцы, не похож. Так и эти. Мы даже этот миф не разрушаем. Так красивые вещи сказали про этногенез, тюркский народ, и все, и на этом прекратили. Так давайте же воспользуем. Кризис. И слава Богу.
Sharks with laser beams. I mean, come on, dude.
Присоединение к нам наших территорий.
Of everything that, yeah. I mean, that does seem to be the narrative, Chem Goblin, that, you know, oh, we let them flirt around with independence, and now we're getting serious, and, you know, now we're basically going to rebuild the Russian Empire, and what are you going to do? What are you going to stop the bear? You know, we're morally justified in taking this because you're too weak to defend it, and, you know, since we're fighting the great Satan on the West, we need all the strength that we can get, so all of this is justified. Bro, I mean, honestly. So that's your update from amateur Hitler. You know, honestly, Hitler was in a better position when he opened up a second front. And like I said, I think the Russian government allows these guys to say whatever nonsense they can because it's red meat for their supporters inside Russia, but they have no intention of invading Turkey. Do it, Putin. Please do it. Please do it. And while you're at it, go ahead and try Moldova while you're at it. You don't think Moldova, it would be a big gift to Moldova because then all of a sudden they're getting backed up by the Ukrainian and fucking NATO allies. Right? Yeah, go ahead and try it. We'll get real independence after we stomp your ass in Moldova. Why not? You're right next door, baby. Why not? 2 for 1, dude. The fucking Pentagon will be high-fiving if you invade fucking Moldova, Putin. Do it. He's already got Employee of the Year 2021. Let's give him Employee of the Year 2023. From NATO. Here, Russian prisoners chilling final message to wife after fighting in Ukraine. I apologize. I don't remember exactly who put this in the Discord, so please let it be known who, if you did. But thank you so much for this link. It's very interesting.
Any joy here is fleeting.
Exactly, Davey, exactly.
Russian soldiers, most convicts here, living it up hours before being sent to the front lines. They fight to be pardoned, but here, over half died at the front.
This is so awkward. What is happening right now? I mean, these guys are standing around like they're at a funeral.
Any joy?
They're and like some drunken idiots are what the fuck?
Here is fleeting. This dance could be their last. Russian soldiers, most convicts here, living it up hours before being sent to the front lines. They fight to be pardoned, but here, over half died at the front, survivors said.
This is awkward.
Even some after they lived through the battle.
This is awkward. They're dancing in front of these guys.
Viktor Savalnev was jailed for armed robbery and assault, but taken out of prison and thrown into the worst fighting outside of Soledar.
Oh, maybe I found this link.
His unit, joking here before they assault a factory the next day, suffered catastrophic casualties, he told his wife. Victor survived, but as he lay injured in hospital, he feared being dragged from his bed and executed for poor performance.
Now, grain of salt. There are lots of Ukrainians that speak extremely fluent Russian. What I'm trying to get at is that these kind of things can be easily faked. Easily. With that said, they can't all be fake. So I always put that little grain of salt before we listen to a phone conversation that these things could be easily faked. And we probably won't be able to get verification. Yeah, but not all of them can be fake. Not all of them.
It's his last message.
I agree, Chem Goblin. Bad choice of name. Executes by shooting and being taken to being shot. He was in the hospital. He wants to go back to he'd like, fine, I'll go back to the fucking front line. And they're like, no, you're useless. We're going to shoot you in the fucking head.
Они хотят всех убить.
And yeah,
Days
sure,
later,
he's a fucking, you know, he was a murderer in Ukraine and a criminal in Russia. But I just, you know, human beings shouldn't be treated this way. Period. You know?
his wife got a closed coffin back after a call from a soldier who said Victor had died from shrapnel injuries. He's buried here, outside Moscow.
But they just kill you anyway.
There's something very different, though, about
They just
Savalnev
fucking
to
kill
many
you
of
anyway.
the prisoners sent to the front line to make up for Russia's devastating casualties. Most are sent by shadowy private military contractor Wagner, who in this propaganda video are keen to portray rare survivors coming back, joyful, grateful even, and last week claimed to have stopped recruiting in prisons altogether. But Savalnev and several convicts CNN has spoken to said they were hired from jail directly by the Russian Ministry of Defense.
That's funny, yeah. So that's what's happened. So the Wagner isn't doing it; just the Russian military is doing it now.
It's a remarkable use of convicts directly by Moscow, and Ukrainian intelligence says it's captured them on the front line.
Even among Russian prisoners of war in Ukraine, there are now those recruited into the private companies of the Defense Ministry of the Russian Federation. They emphasize to us that they are not Wagner, but officially invited by the Defense Ministry. Here we hear echoes of internal squabbles in the Russian military leadership. Wagner's presence is being diluted with convicts directly controlled by the defense chiefs Shoigu and Gerasimov.
Recruitment has surged, these government figures showing a sudden 27,000 drop in the prison population last year when the scheme was just underway, with no apparent amnesty to explain it.
Really?
A large proportion have died,
Function,
with this
really?
Wagner training video showing one of the reckless tactics prisoners are used for, charging forwards together at the enemy.
And we've seen, if you've seen the POV footage of Ukrainians battling Russians, this looks actually really familiar.
Prisoners are used for, charging forwards
We're going to get a
together
map
at the enemy.
update at the end of this
Savalnev
segment,
was part
Root and
of a
Tootin',
unit
so we'll get a full
08807,
map
and its other
update and figure out
frontline
exactly
survivors
where
know how
Ukraine
hard
is
it is
at,
to stay alive under
closer to the end.
We spoke to several from their hospital beds, hiding their identity. A former soldier jailed on drugs charges described being sent back twice to the front while injured.
While injured?
We walk around with bullet wounds, with shrapnel stuck in our legs. No one is being operated on. We were 130 people, but have many amputees. There's probably less than 40 of us left.
Another, convicted on manslaughter, said half his unit became casualties.
We were sent to the very front. I radioed our guys that they were firing mortars at us, that they should aim a bit to the right, and they still shot at us, from both sides. Then I understood they were deliberately firing at us.
It's a recruitment scheme ensnaring whoever it can.
I mean, that is super common. The friendly fire from enemy mortars on the Russian side is nuts. It, of course, happens in Ukraine as well. I've seen some footage of tanks shooting each other and other things like that happening in Ukraine. But it's a common occurrence in the Russian military. If, you know, a commander has no problem hitting an area with artillery, even if it's like, well, our men are over there, they're storming that location. I don't care. Hit them. They don't care. The leadership does not care about these soldiers. Literal cannon fodder. And if you look at how Russia has proceeded with all of its wars, I mean, this is not new. This is not a new thing. This is how Russia does military. It's nihilistic. I mean, what other word is there, man? I've never seen such contempt for soldiers that are dying for your government and country. I've just never seen this. You know, I guess I'm just too used to the U.S. style of, you know, holding these guys up, as scions, as heroes, right? And a lot of these guys are heroes. Let's not get it twisted, but it's not healthy to do that either. It's not healthy to make everyone in law enforcement and the military a fucking hero. That's not healthy, but it's also not healthy to, oh, fuck them, fucking cannon fodder assholes. I'll shoot you in the head when you get back because you didn't do your job right. That's not the right way either.
In this ghoulish ceremony, Wagner honors Tanzanian student Nemes Tarimo. He was detained
STEM
on
42.
drugs charges while on
Is that a Nazi thing? Is that a fucking Stern 40? That's a Nazi thing, isn't it? Just reading your comment here, Line Cut. Yeah, he had not the courage to evade the Weimar. Well, I mean, who could? It was a total war. I mean, well, actually, Germany didn't. Is interesting. One of the facts I learned watching the Nuremberg trials, Germany didn't enter a total war economy until late into the war. During World War II, which I found interesting. So like the German people, they didn't have to sacrifice as much until things got really real. Most likely a tank driver that killed Ukrainians, Russians, and other ethnics at the same area. The war rages today, so every deceased man became an orc. Yeah. History is nasty. No, it's not a Nazi thing? Oh, okay. Well, then welcome.
Study exchange here at a Red Square
It's so hard
Christmas
to tell,
event
Stern.
in a justice system that's notoriously
Oh,
corrupt.
that's actually my favorite book
His
series.
family in Tanzania said they did not even know he'd been
What's your
arrested
favorite part from
when
the
they learned
Hitchhiker's
he'd
Guide
been
series?
killed in the war.
Since his childhood, Nemes was a very obedient boy. He wasn't a scamp. He was a very religious person.
A scamp.
When he was alive, we never heard about it, but now that he's dead, we are told he was arrested for drug-related offenses. It really hurts us as a family.
No, I love the Hitchhiker's Guide.
He
Never
never
get
even
the
had a
hang of
dream
Thursdays.
of becoming a soldier.
His body.
My favorite part in the Hitchhiker's Guide is when Arthur Dent is on New Earth, the Earth that was created to replace the one that was destroyed. And he's at the same location of his house. Of course, there's nothing there. It's a prehistoric Earth. And he gets out of his cave and he just says to himself, he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to go mad. He just decides right there, I'm sick of this. I'm going to go crazy. I love that part. The learning to fly is also a really fun one.
Was returned closed, entombing yet another story of how life is thrown away at the front. Nick Payton Walsh, CNN, London.
Yeah. If you can't handle the situation, why not just go insane? God, that's such a good series. So this is very interesting, and Davey was reporting on this in the Discord. A curious situation is developing in the Balacological resort town of Gyorchav, in Krasnodar Krai, Russia, between the town's administration and PMC Wagner. I feel like I'm playing DayZ over here. The town's administration denied the previously approved request for the group to bury mercenaries killed in Ukraine, claiming that the journalists who come to report on the burial are ruining the image of the resort and its direct leadership. Earlier, Prigozhin published several audio messages condemning the town administration, and today, Gray Zone, not the same Gray Zone, I don't think, Prigozhin's mouthpiece Telegram channel posted this video with alleged Wagner mercenaries addressing the town administration. As you can see, they use rather intimidating language. So, like, this is a Russian resort, and they told Wagner, don't bury your people here. It makes us all look bad. Which it really tells you, I mean, people are not interested. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are like, yeah, we want nothing to do with this special military operation, whatever the fuck that is. Worse than the Weimar, although not as bad as the Gestapo and its function. I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. If Hitler had nukes, he would have dropped them. Bucha is an absolute tragedy, and the mass graves that they're still uncovering in Izium and Kharkiv, all these places, absolutely disgusting. But it's really, really hard to catch up to the Nazis when it comes to their barbarism. Those death camps were actual death factories. Thousands of people a day showing up on railroad carts, men, women, and children. One of the stories I heard from, I've been watching the Nuremberg trials. The Court TV did a whole 15-hour special on the Nuremberg trials, and I've been watching it. And one of the worst things I think I've heard was one day the ovens ran out of gas, and they threw live children. Or not the ovens, I'm sorry, the gas chambers ran out of gas. So they resorted just throwing the children directly into the ovens because those were still working. So I'm not trying to, you know, create cover for the Russians here, but I am very trepidatious when it comes to the Nazi Germany Russian comparisons. Anyway, let's see what these puss boys have to say. Oh, they're going to threaten. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Shoot up the town? Is that what you're going to do, Wagner? Should, you know, you're going to shoot up the town, guys? What are you going to do? Blow up the resort?
Сегодня хоронят наших бойцов. Сегодня администрация горячего ключа препятствует этому. Вы дождетесь твари.
You didn't come and sort them out, huh? Watch out.
Разобраться с вами.
Watch out. Are there going to be any of you left?
Несете вреда больше, чем украинская армия, чем нацисты.
I will say this. There was a story. I actually have forgotten to report on it, and I'll report on it right now. There does seem to be credible evidence that Russia has used corpses of their own army to build layers inside a trench. There was a video purportedly of a Russian. I watched the whole video. It was a Russian in a trench, and he was saying that the trench itself, that he started digging out bodies and other things from the trenches. That, you know, so instead of getting rid of the body, they just, you know, they put him on the trench as like a sandbag, right? Instead of using a sandbag. That's getting closer to Nazi Germany, right? That's getting closer to Nazi Germany. But that's just, the Russian was fucking freaking out because he was like unzipping what he thought were sandbags and they were actually body bags. But I've only seen one video of that reported.
Потому что вы и есть нацисты. Ебаная
Fighting like
администрация
insects.
горячего
Yeah, insects
ключа.
will, yeah, ants do that during their
Сегодня
wars,
хоронят
totally.
наших бойцов.
Ants will use the
Сегодня
corpses of their
администрация
dead
горячего
soldiers like
ключа
that. Yeah.
препятствует этому. Вы дождетесь твари, что нам придется прийти и разобраться с вами.
Line cut, the Wehrmacht and SS both committed atrocities. Of course, the SS committed more, but
чем нацисты.
the Wehrmacht was totally guilty of committing atrocities as well.
Ебаная администрация горячего ключа. Сегодня хоронят наших бойцов.
So there you go. They're bitching and moaning. You won't let us bury our dead. The resort is like, yeah, it makes us look bad. So I think these are Ukrainian sources. So grain of salt. I find these numbers hard to believe. This whole idea that Ukraine is killing 7 Russian soldiers for every 1 Ukrainian dead. I mean, it's fantastical. It's fantastical. And here we have another report saying that on one day, Ukraine was able to destroy 1,500 Russian soldiers. I just find it really hard to believe. There's no doubt about it, Chad Mary. There was a lot of public support for Hitler's party. There was opposition. There was absolutely opposition, but he did win a Democratic contest. And Goebbels had a lot of fun bringing that up during the Nuremberg trials. Was it Goebbels or the second in command? The fat fuck. Fat fuck. Is that Goebbels?
Russian losses in Ukraine reach 1,500 soldiers a day. NATO estimates that Russia loses 1,500 soldiers in the fights in Ukraine daily. This number includes both killed and injured members of personnel. About it informed the Guardian outlet with reference to a top NATO official.
Goring. Thank you, Function. Thank you, Function, for that. It wasn't Goebbels. I knew it wasn't Goebbels. Goring. Second in command. Boy, he was a real treat up on the stand there. He 100% true believer.
Who prepared to remain anonymous. Dan Sabo, correspondent of The Guardian, cites his source which states that Russians suffer most significant losses in the city of Bakhmut in Donetsk Oblast. Ukraine loses an order of magnitude less soldiers, but specific numbers were not revealed. In addition to this, NATO estimates that several thousand shells are used by both sides every day. NATO cannot predict for how long the Battle of Bakhmut will continue. At the moment, heavy fighting is ongoing on the front line in the city along the Bakhmutka River, which has
line cut. I think Rootin' Tootin' is just being cautious because I think you would agree that there has been an effort by historical revisionists to say that a majority of the atrocities committed by Germany was only the SS, when factually that is just not true. So there is an effort by some people to revise history and say that the only people committing those crimes were just the SS, and that's just not true.
Turned into a killing zone. As of the beginning of March, Western intelligence estimated Russia's losses in the fights for the city of Bakhmut.
I'm going to be doing World War Tuesdays. Once I have some more time, once the kid has calmed down, I have so much World War II content, and we will be getting into World War II. And there is actually several documentaries I'll be showing specifically on this topic of the historical revisionism that's being done to the regular army of the regular German army. There's a lot of historical revisionism happening there. So I hopefully we'll see you there, and you can comment on some of this proof that the normal German army also contributed to the horrendous war crimes. I think it's fair to say they did less. They did less of them. I think that's fair to say.
In Donetsk Oblast to be 20,000 to 30,000 of recruits of the Wagner Group in the last few months. Killed soldiers are estimated to be about a...
Yeah, but I mean, rootin' tootin', you're being absolutely ridiculous calling German people Nazis. You need to stop that immediately. Okay? That's absolute bullshit. I won't have that in my fucking chat. You chill the fuck out, or you can get the fuck out. You hear me? Just because someone's from Germany doesn't mean they're a fucking Nazi. And just because they're trying to make nuanced arguments about the German military, that doesn't make them a Nazi either. I'm giving you one chance to back the fuck up and stop calling people Nazis just because they're from Germany. I'm giving you one chance. And yeah, line cut. How about you take the fucking, opportunity to not escalate? I'll kick you both out.
Third of this quantity. Additionally, Western officials believe that the Wagner Group is running out of reserves.
That's very true, Chad
as
Mary.
the number of men of draft age in Russian prisons where the Wagner mercenaries are recruited is beginning to decrease. Then NATO estimated Russia's losses in the battles for Bakhmut in Donetsk Oblast to be 5 times higher than Ukraine's losses.
Drama. I think that's really lazy. That's really lazy to argue, oh, you're from Germany and and you're trying to inject some nuance into the discussion of World War II and you're just a Nazi. That's dumb. That's dumb. That's not how you have a proper discussion about Nazi Germany, especially with Germans. Because that's a tough subject to talk about. It's as an ex-American, it's very tough for me to talk about the atrocities in Vietnam. There's just no excuse for the My Lai massacre. There's no excuse. There's no justification for what we did. And how do I justify that? How do I, you can't, right? So I feel bad for Germans who have to, deal with the history. That's their burden. That's their burden. Rootin' tootin', that's not what he's doing at all. You're the one being the asshole here. Putting words in other people's mouths and he's not making a pro-Nazi argument at all. He's just trying to say that there's, not just because you served in the German army, that doesn't necessarily mean you were, running the camps in Auschwitz, which I think is fair. That's not what he said. He's trying to say that they committed less. So you stop being a bad actor. Stop being disingenuous. That's not cool. This was interesting. I think this was posted by Woke Patriot, right? I think Woke Patriot put this in there. Flag of Jewish Ukrainian Nationalist Unit. Good example of how the meaning of symbols can change from one person group to another. See in the comments. So this is an interesting flag. Apparently, this is one of the only guys sporting this flag. As far as the first comment here, as far as I can tell, this isn't a Jewish unit. It's just one guy. I've been looking it up for weeks and cannot find any Jewish military units in Ukraine. After some research, this flag is used by Jewish members of the Azov Regiment, so not an independent unit, but definitely more than one guy. Here's what I found. Some Ukrainian Jewish people support and serve in the Azov Regiment. A 2018 BBC report gave the example of one of the most prominent members, co-founder Nathan Kazin, a leader of the Jewish Hundreds, during the 2013 Euromaidan protests in Kyiv. Kazin and his supporters in the regiment often display the flag of the Ukrainian insurgent army with the Star of David added to it. All right, buddy, you're done. You're done. You are done. Yeah, my moderating tool says this guy's a suspicious user. So thank you, Line Cut. Thank you, Line Cut, for your patience. Okay, but we're done. We're done with rootin' tootin' here. That's not how you argue in my chat. That's not how adults argue. I don't think I agree with you, Line Cut. But I also I so disagree with rootin' tootin' and what this person is trying to do. So so this is interesting. You know, Kyle Kulinski. Am I suspicious? Wish I could see that. Let me see. Are you suspicious? Let's see here. Daddy. Nope. No, it says actually the only thing I see on Daddy Dennis's profile is that he donated to the Direct Relief Charity 2008. That's all I can see. Let's see. Is Chem Goblin suspicious? No, you're clean. Chem Goblin's clean. He was the one who equated gulags with Auschwitz. Yeah, I just hate that. You know, it's just like there's a complicated argument about what Line Cut is talking about. That's a complicated subject, and if you see a complicated subject and you just go, "You're a fucking Nazi scum," fuck out of here. You're not having a real conversation. You're just being an asshole. You're just being a fucking asshole. I'm not down for that shit. So I just found this interesting, and I also like to call out Kyle Kulinski, who last time I checked was calling Azov a Nazi regiment. You know, maybe you should take some more time to read the news instead of dyeing your hair, dumbass, and get a little bit more nuanced on Ukraine instead of, you know, making time for Joe fucking Rogan. Yeah, there's far right elements in the Azov Battalion. I'm not denying that. But it's way more complicated than just because, like, the last time I heard Kyle Kulinski, this was, to be fair, this was 6 months ago or longer. But he described the Azov Battalion as like a Nazi battalion. Like it was just, it's just not true, man. It's just not true. It's way more complicated than that with Azov. With that said, there's definitely some right-wing friendly elements about it. There's that whole town that recruits their kids into the Azov Battalion, super right-wing. But it's not a Nazi regiment. Fuck off. Get some fucking nuance in your argument, Kyle. Fuck Joe Rogan. He can suck my fucking dick. Fucking Joe Rogan.
The battle for the city of Bakhmut is proving to be the longest of the conflict so far, and the stakes are very high for both sides. And if we take a look at Bakhmut, we understand why. It's a key hub in...
He just taps this guy on the shoulder? What's
happening?
happening?
If we take a look at Bakhmut, we understand...
That's so funny.
Understand why. It's a key hub in Donetsk province, which is now surrounded by Russian troops.
Really, Daddy?
And some hired
That's
Russian fighters. Funny. And they're under orders to capture this entire region, one of 4 which Moscow annexed unlawfully last year. And Ukrainian troops are in trenches, many of them, resisting the Russian advance, with huge casualties being reported. In the case of 2 Ukrainian brigades, well, they're defending the city's southern perimeter. And in fact, very recently, they gave the BBC access to their positions, often under fire. And our correspondent, Quentin Somerville, and camera operator Darren Conway were there, and they sent this report.
The fuck even is that?
In war's uncertain journey, fates are decided in the unlikeliest of places. Ukraine has drawn a line in the mud. And that line is Bakhmut. No matter the hardship, the enemy must not pass. This ground
Rogan
must be held.
sucks.
Winter has given way to...
I have some recent footage out of Bakhmut. Things are drying up, folks. Things are drying up. That spring offensive is so close.
Early spring, they hope it
The roads don't look like this
Russia's
anymore.
advance.
At least in some places.
The thing is, it complicates the job for both parties. The enemy has difficulty attacking.
Look at him, dude.
Because nothing moves in the mud.
Nothing except tank tracks and army boots.
This fucking mud is nasty, dude. You gotta
The
fight a
mud's
war
unreal.
in this?
It pulls you this way and that way. It's a trap for men, for vehicles.
It'd be so great if he just fell
It makes
face
moving around
first.
this
It really would be
battlefield
great TV.
almost impossible. And for the soldiers of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade, it means going
Looks
the long
nasty.
way round,
Super nasty.
moving as fast as the territory allows. They're in range of Russian guns. We're told to keep low. Because there are snipers around here. These trenches are new, but warfare along this front is antiquated. Below ground, these are dugouts that their grandfathers would recognise. But by digging in, they've tied up Russian forces here and held Bakhmut longer than many expected. Hi guys. But it isn't just the conditions that are basic. This is a 21st century war being fought with 19th century weaponry.
MREs, all I can think of is diarrhea.
Machine gun, 120 years of
so
history.
I have a different video showing more of this, but these are in full use in Ukraine. This is some World War I shit.
Russians weapon from First World War that uses in Third World War.
It used in the Third World War. It's a world war to Ukrainians, that's for sure.
Right, we're heading.
I mean, look at all this. This from like other artillery strikes, right? Just cutting the trees, right? It's so nuts looking at the devastation.
Right to the very forward position. You can hear shelling right now. We've had automatic fire. There's more shelling. They get attacked here on a daily basis.
They're still using those machine guns. They're in heavy use.
There are the enemy positions, so let's move very fast.
Okay.
Almost every day was some shells from mortar or artillery.
Yeah, we can see the craters all around here. That's a fresh crater right there.
And we need...
We gotta go.
Okay, time to
We gotta
go.
There's hardly any tree cover here. The men are exposed.
Yeah, let's not have a conversation until we get to the trench, huh?
Okay, go. We can go in the car because a little bit hotter here.
Keep down.
A little hotter. Just a little bit.
The Russians are only 500 metres away. That's automatic fire. All along this line, it's grenade fire, automatic gun fire, and tank fire.
It's really dangerous there. Bullets are flying everywhere.
That kind of fire is every day here. 7 months, more than 7 months into this battle, we've created a wasteland. This is the longest battle of the war so far. To the north,
I mean, that's his job,
to the
Kim.
east,
That's what he's there for.
and here in the south, Russia's been making gains. But it's cost
Put a big fucking press across your fucking I guess it doesn't matter. Russia doesn't give a shit, but I don't know, man. You looking too much like a soldier in all black like this. I know you want to look cool and all, but put a big fucking press thing across your vest, please.
them. The Ukrainians say that for every one soldier that they lose, Russia loses 7.
That's what they say.
Still, they hold on here. Bakhmut is a
So
town that
fantastical.
no one believes has
Can't believe
strategic
that.
value.
7-1.
But to Russia and to Ukraine, it matters in this war.
Hey, you bet it does.
It's not a strategic question for us. We're just ordinary soldiers. But this is our land. If we lose here, then do we...
Is this a 7-year-old boy? This is two children in a stacked together on top of each other. What the fuck?
We retreat to Chasiv Yar, to Sloviansk, and then all the way to Kiev. However long it takes, 2, 4, 5 years, we have to fight for every piece of ground.
So every tiny step of land needs to be defended, even as they toil under waves of attacks from Russian prisoners sent by Wagner Group.
Artillery grenade doesn't read.
We were in combat every 2 hours. As far as I understand, they were Wagner. We were fighting them. And without overestimating our achievements, I would say a single company was killing 50 of their men a day. We checked the figures. They are awful numbers.
No way. I mean, it's just...
They're outgunned and outnumbered, but for now, unyielding. In Bakhmut, like in the rest of this war, they've grown used to the odds being against them. Quentin Somerville, BBC News, on the outskirts of Bakhmut.
Intense. Intense, man. Super intense. If you guys haven't heard of this fella here, I might as well subscribe. I've been watching a lot of his content recently. Generous to the Russians. I just don't want to fall into this trap of being, you know, uncritically pro-Ukrainian, you know. But please like and subscribe. I just need to see an independent analysis. I need to see an independent analysis of the Rusty AK story. There's just, it's so fucking hard for me to believe that Russia is doing this to their own people. Fifth grader blew up the eternal flame of the Soviet Union in Moscow. What? Make sure you check out Warhog Defense here. Lovely channel, lovely content. What? It doesn't sound too far off. Child in 5th grade blew up the Soviet area eternal flame, stuffing a fire extinguisher into it. Homie's looking around. Ooh, that's a big no-no. He's in trouble. Oh, he's in trouble. Hey, but good on him, dude. Good on him. Not so eternal. Yeah, hard to crunch real numbers in the heat of battle. Oh, he's going to be in so much fucking trouble, though. This kind of symbolic shit, Russia will crack down on you so hard. They're not going to give a shit that he's a child. It will be the Russian youth who destroy Putin's regime, though, if it does happen. Anyway, Warthog Defense here making some great content. Make sure you check this out. Like and subscribe, please. Put the link in the chat.
The Moscow priest complains, "We have a weak army. We didn't bring ammunition. There is no uniforms. Everything is lacking. The enemy's army is better armed. The whole world is against us. The whole technological world. Everyone turned against us. What can we do against them? Nothing. Smart guy." This is another complaint from Russian Mobics. This batch is from St. Petersburg. They say that upon arrival in Ukraine, they were sent to the assault brigade to storm the fortified area near Avdiivka without reconnaissance and artillery. As a result, the loss amounted to more than 70% of the personnel. This is the same pattern like in the previous videos. Russian armed forces are in chaos. Solovyev's big-eared lapdog confirms to a vast Russian audience, and to us, that the goal of the invasion is to destroy Ukraine as a state. Joining him is Vitaly Milonov, a scandalous political clown who calls all Russian men to sign a contract because it is the Russian soldier who is protecting the earth from total nuclear war.
like we saw from Russian Mobics. More mobilized Russians means more body bags to bring them home.
Вся Украина, все, что там находится, это наша земля. Это наша, это не просто даже территория, вот так как территория, это слишком абстрактно. Это наши люди, которые там захотят, придут к нам, кто не захочет, там просто уедет куда-нибудь подальше, как они и уезжают. Но там должна быть Россия, там не должно быть никакой Украины, не должно быть никакого суверенитета. Я понимаю, что там дипломатические тонкости, но мы с вами не дипломаты и, честно скажем, люди безответственные, поэтому мы можем говорить, что никакой Украины быть не должно.
They don't deserve
А вот как это
sovereignty.
происходит? Позывной Густав, младший сержант артиллерии, Виталий Милонов с нами на связи.
Is there any dead bodies line cut?
Готовы идти вперед. Вот. И мы в любом случае это будем делать. Поэтому сейчас, конечно, еще не поздно всем нормальным мужикам присоединиться, подписать контракты, идти к нам и сражаться за Родину. Потому что потом вы будете кусать свои локоточки, гламурные, намазанные кремом.
Yeah.
И жалеть, что вы не были с нами в эти
Yeah,
великие
come join the glorious army, just like Mr. Armchair General over here.
дни. Так что сейчас способ, есть шанс доказать
Yeah, I can't show
свою
that
мужскую
line
сущность.
cut.
Освободительная война, война благородная, война с честью и достоинством является необходимым элементом
Gotta
для
avoid
жизни
stuff like
нормального
that.
русского человека и русского мужика. Русский солдат сейчас, без всякого пафоса, спасает глобально мир от всеобщей ядерной катастрофы.
In undisclosed location, Ukrainian forces and Western armor, definitely the best combination. A visibly limping Putin arrived in occupied Crimea. Russian sources report Putin's visit to Sevastopol to celebrate the anniversary of
guess.
the annexation of Crimea, which,
I
by the
don't
way,
know.
will be one of the items on Putin's list of accusations at the Hague court.
Oh yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, yeah. Putin will be in the Hague.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, he's right behind Dick Cheney. Hey guys, little baby update. Oh, little baby. Say hi, bud. How you doing, buddy? Oh, little baby. There you go. There we go. Cheer 100. Thanks for the chat, Jason. Enjoyed the stream. Hey, thank you, Daddy. Yeah, I'm not a partner. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't want Twitch's money. So this is interesting. This one was from Davey, and this one shows kind of like what I've been talking about. That hey, that's okay, Daddy. Thank you so much. If you want to support the stream, we do have a merch store. You can check out some wonderful garbage fuel merch you can take home today, put it right in a landfill. But if you want to support the stream, that's the best way to do it for now. I think we'll be doing a Patreon very soon. So look forward to that. Does he sleep through the night? Not really. I get about 2-3 hours. 92. So this is what I'm talking about, though. Like, not everyone in Russia is like a Putin obsessed zombie. There are some people that, you know, they lost their give a fuck and they don't fucking care. And, you know, some it's really funny when you see an older person, sorry, I don't mean to be ageist, but you see an older person criticizing Putin because they're like, what is he going to do? Fucking kill me? Yeah, whatever. You know, I got 10 years left on this earth. Let's fucking come and get me, Putin. So it's always funny to see, but there's definitely some pushback. I mean, you know, the fact is, though, pushing back, if I was a 20-year-old living in Russia against the war, I probably wouldn't tell anybody. That's how bad it is.
Есть ли у нашей страны враги?
Я не знаю.
Ну, многие отвечают так, что это Америка, Запад и так далее. Какое у вас по этому поводу мнение?
Я думаю, что это неправильное мнение.
Почему многие тогда с ним согласны?
Donate to charity, Daddy Dennis. Thank you for wanting to support. Thank you.
Очень плохое с точки зрения высокого смысла телевидение. Оно оболванило наш народ совершенно, и поэтому люди так отвечают.
Вас-то телевидение не оболванило? Почему тогда оболванились все? Многие, не все, конечно, но многие.
Мне сейчас уже 92-й год. Я пережила 4 войны.
she's in great health for 92. I gotta say, you know, Joe Biden's at 1/4 her speed.
Я умею думать, я умею анализировать. Ну, неужели вы думаете, я буду слушать этих Соловьева, эту тетку, которая, как ее, я даже не помню, но неважно. У нас очень плохо последние годы поставлено образование. Вот если мы станем воспитывать хорошо наших детей, то вот эти молодые люди, которые вожи и все прочее, этого просто не случилось бы, потому что это дикари, воспитанные нашим
Good for her, man.
Вот и всё.
Absolute baller. Total G. Total G. Bigger nuts than the whole Russian army right there. Lenny, I certainly hope you make it to 92. His story was on NPR. Came here to watch a homeless man use streaming to keep himself in a motel. He lived off the bits. Well, that is it's inspiring, and it's also dystopian and sad at the same time. It's like equal measures sad and inspiring. You know, that story that a homeless man has to resort to Twitch and kind of pour himself out in a weird way, you know, for sustenance. Kind of weird. Kind of like the human zoo. Remember when human zoos used to be a thing? Russia. But anyway, thank you, Daddy Dennis, for wanting to support me. I appreciate it. Russia threatens Ukraine fighter jets after Slovakia joins Poland in pledging warplanes. I'm so bad. Banned from the platform. Homeless content not good for TOS. Fucking Twitch, man. Now he's back, though. Good. I doubt they banned him just because he was homeless. He was probably showing, like, him doing heroin or something. 2 years banned? Whoa, what did he do? What, he shows his nutsack or something? Eastern Europe only got rid of communism because we wanted cool Western shit products, basically, and believed it's still 60s in the U.S., one income supporting a family. Russia got Western consumption without democratic education, and that's the effect. It's delusional belief that they're on mass risk their lives for vague and barely understandable state freedoms. I don't want Twitch's money. I don't want their fucking money. They can keep their money. You start taking their money, they start paying more attention. With that said, I've already gotten banned once. So, remember one streamer who was doing dares for money? I gave him $15 to go to a Subway sandwich shop and ask them how to get to a subway train. That's kind of funny. I was told to pay the other streamer half his money and they would mass report him. Wow. That's so sad. So incredibly sad.
A 21st century assignment for fighter jets designed in the 70s and pressed into service by the Soviet Air Force in the 80s.
Yeah, they do.
These MiGs we are giving to Ukraine so they can protect their civilians from the amount of bombs that have been hitting their homes and shelters where civilians are dying. Slovakia's government approved the transfer of 13 MiG-29s to Ukraine. The jets had been grounded because of a lack of spare parts and technicians to service them. Poland this week also finalized plans to send 4 jets.
What's that? You see?
It was just last month when Ukraine's defense minister waved a pocket square with a jet on it.
I don't approve. I don't think that's cool. I don't want to. No. If you're supporting defending oneself and using weapons and killing people to do that, it should not be met with smiles and, you know, it should be met with a solemn acceptance that this is what's necessary, but not this kind of exuberance. I don't appreciate this big fucking smile. Oh, we're going to go. It's like, yeah, man, these are tools of death. This is tools of destruction. And yes, it's justified. And yes, Ukraine deserves and needs every one of them. But goddamn, dude, wipe the fucking smile off your face.
What he wanted from his NATO allies. But Russia also has friends. China's Xi Jinping will spend 3 days in Moscow next week. The West has expressed fears China would arm Russia and recently urged Xi against such actions. Germany suggested China use its sway to convince the Kremlin to withdraw from Ukraine. China will uphold its objective and fair position on the Ukrainian crisis, says the spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry. When it comes to Russia's war in Ukraine, Putin's advisors told a state media outlet Moscow highly appreciates the balanced position of the Chinese leadership. Russia's full invasion of its neighbor last year prompted Sweden and Finland, which shares a land border with Russia, to seek security under the NATO banner.
Welcome. Thank you.
After lengthy talks, the Turkish parliament will start the ratification process for Finland. Talks continue on Sweden's bid. Turkey and Hungary had previously blocked the joint
I don't want Twitch's money, but thank you for your support, Mary.
NATO bid. Hungary now says it will also start the ratification.
Daddy Dennis, that's totally unnecessary. Just go ahead and feed that person and, tell him good luck.
Process for Finland. Russia previously warned that it would be forced to respond should NATO set up military infrastructure along the borders of the Nordic countries.
Hey, big props to Lenny, our #1 financial supporter over there in South fucking Boston. OG of the stream. OG of the stream. Thank you. Big props to Lenny. And I hope he enjoys all that Garbage Fuel merch. Thank you so much, Lenny. Okay, yeah, my computer is having a fucking seizure here. Hold on. But thank you very much, Lenny, for being here. I appreciate it. We're almost done. Okay, I don't have time for this story. Putin visits Crimea. Okay, we do need to cover this.
Russian-occupied Crimea, the celebration started early Saturday morning. Small
James
groups taking to the streets to mark the 9th anniversary of Crimea being annexed from Ukraine. Crimea has been Russian for centuries, says Sergei from the local biker club. It came back into Russia's fold. And no celebration would be complete without the man that made it happen. Russian President Vladimir Putin making a surprise visit, touring a new art museum to mark the anniversary. But while Putin admired the sculptures, there might have been other things on his mind.
This little guy's doing some
Late
Putin
Friday,
right now.
the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for him, alleging the Russian president oversaw the forced deportation of Ukrainian children. It's an act Moscow has actually celebrated, saying at a rally it had rescued these Ukrainian kids. The other mastermind behind the alleged...
Funny, it's so funny. He gets called... God, the propaganda. He gets called out for approving the kidnapping of thousands of Ukrainian children and forcing them to re-educate them, right, to be Russian. And what is he? He immediately marches over and he's like, look, these kids are happy.
Saying at a
I mean, come on, man. They suck. God, it sucks. Look into the damage that Russia is doing to Ukraine. Look into what they're doing to Ukrainian children. They're not throwing them in ovens. Okay, we're not there yet, right? But I mean, god damn, man. They're literally kidnapping children, forcing them to change their citizenship, forcing them into foster homes, and then making it impossible for their parents to get their kids back.
Rally, it had rescued these Ukrainian kids. The other mastermind behind the alleged plot has also been charged. Maria Lvova-Belova is seen here loading Ukrainian children on a bus headed for Russia.
There are credible allegations against these persons for the alleged crimes.
Kyiv claims more than 16,000 children have been forcefully deported from occupied areas, but they warn that number could be much higher. Only 300 have been returned. 6 of them are Olga Lopakhinya's kids. This is the moment they were reunited with their mother.
Nice.
Every day they turn the children against us, she said, adding that Russia told her children, your parents have abandoned you. Here, you will have a better life. Russia has dismissed the charges as outrageous and unacceptable, and doesn't recognize the court's authority, meaning if Putin stays in Russia, he won't be arrested. But if he travels to any of the 123 member countries of the ICC, international law says he must be detained. Mackenzie Gray, Global News, Ottawa.
I live in Canada. I'm a U.S. citizen currently immigrating into Canada right now. I'm an immigrant. Yep. So here's more footage of Putin driving. He likes to show people that he can drive, but look how he drives. He's got his seat pushed all the way up. He's driving like he's blind. He looks like he's doing maybe 30 or 40.
A president and his officials on a road trip.
It's terrible. It's just terrible. I can't believe
the choice of descriptor. Beautiful.
I don't want to be ageist here.
Remotely tally.
It doesn't look like he drives too often.
This city. 20,000 people died in the battle for Mariupol, according to Ukraine. And the United Nations estimates that 90% of the buildings were damaged and around 70% of the population forced to leave.
God damn.
But perhaps the night skies conceal these grim realities. And in any case, Vladimir Putin is here to see what he's built, not destroyed. As he examines shiny new floor plans, he's spotted by people Russian media claim are local residents.
Totally spontaneous, guys. Hey, maybe it was, huh? I mean, America did the same thing to Iraq and Afghanistan, right? But even George W. Bush didn't show up to look at, oh yeah, look at, he shows up to some fucking bombed building in Afghanistan and be like, oh yeah, look, I'm gonna replace it. Even he didn't have that kind of fucking gall.
Маленький кусочек рая.
Будем расширять. Можете пройти посмотреть, если желание. Да. Комнаты, если хотите.
Даже не верили, что мы в этом году получим.
He peers into someone's freshly stocked kitchen with an arrest warrant hanging over his head. The International Criminal Court alleges the president is responsible for war crimes, focusing its...
Honestly, the fact that the United States is not part of the ICC either really allows for anybody to just hand wave it all away.
Claims on the unlawful deportation of children from Ukraine to Russia.
That's a good one.
He hasn't commented.
I meant to play that because it's Iraq's 20th anniversary, the mission accomplished. And that's a pretty good one, no doubt about it.
On the arrest warrant, but some interpret this trip as a show of defiance.
Big tough guy. Big tough. Why did he do this? What are you doing?
Testing out the new seats in what appears to be a theatre is done and dusted as quickly as the shoulder puff. And then
this looks like the most uncomfortable. I'm supposed to watch a show? Where am I supposed to put my fucking elbows? Look at this shit, man. He's a normal sized human being, dude. This sucks. This place sucks, dude. If I saw a show here and it was more expensive than $5, I'd leave.
In what appears to be a theatre is done and dusted as quickly as the shoulder puff.
Heck of a job, Brownie. I remember that one. Oh, you're dusting off the classics, Woke Patriot.
And then it's off east to Rostov to meet his top military team. How much time do you have, asks the commander. As much time as it takes.
They were always pro-Russian, of course. Of course,
though he has a big meeting tomorrow. Chinese President Xi Jinping is set to visit Moscow, mooted as a significant sign of support.
Oh, yeah, big support. Sure. I hope he brought some ammo with him, Xi Jinping. Everything is built to Putin size. Okay, I looked through this video. I didn't see anything questionable, but I'm going to get my censored button ready. Ukrainian Marines dropped dozens of bombs on Ukrainian troops during the night. Ooh, maybe actually. Oh, yeah, no, actually, okay. This one I can't show. But I wanted to. But I had the link up. I can't play it to you, but if you want to see it yourself, you can follow the link right here, and you can see it yourself. But no, I actually cannot show this film on Twitch. This one I wanted to show because this is like what I was talking about, that World War I weapon that we're seeing being used so heavily in Ukraine. This is a closer look at that. Hopefully not, Chem Goblin. I'm on Kick at the same time. How many people are there? I don't know. How many people are on Kick? Nobody. Yeah, nobody. Nobody's. Oh, according to this, I have 2 viewers on Kick. Hello, Kick viewers. Sorry, I don't check the chat too often. I have 3 followers on Kick. Wow, look at me. Big money. Big money. Hey, if you hate the fascists on Kick and would like to see a real progressive news alternative, make sure you hit me up. I have 4 viewers now on Kick. What the hell is happening? Anyway, thank you, Kick viewers. Come on over to Twitch if you want to actually have your chats actually be seen. This isn't the gun. Hold on. They're going to get to the gun. This is the gun. Maxim. Imagine there are Russians who are getting ripped apart by guns that are literally older than they are. Literally. Is it? Yeah, I'm sure all the political commentators are just going to just chatting. Yeah, look at this. Look at this shit. The guy has a stovetop head. The man has a stovetop hat. Oh, that was a novel invention at the time. You don't find stovetop hats weird? Yeah, Davey, I meant to fix my DLive channel. I gotta redo my DLive thing. Yeah, who cares? DLive, fuck you. Firing at a rate 600 rounds per minute. The gun relies on heavy water jacket around its barrel to prevent the overheating. Oh, is that what this is? This is a water cooling. It's water cooled. Sitting on iron wheels and weighing around 30 kilos before adding water or ammunition belts. Wow, so I guess the water goes right up top there, huh? I guess you just pour in the water right there. Oh, that's fucking cool. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm not going to show the whole video, but I just thought I'd show you there. Little rundown of this World War I weapon that seems to be used quite a bit in Ukraine. My internet's kind of doing a little shitty thing. I think we're okay though. All right, we're getting real close to the end here. We're going to go over some combat footage and then get a map update, and that'll be it for the day. Surrendered and waiting for help in Bakhmut, wounded Wagners were put into this condition. The funnel and pour it in. It's a funnel and you pour it in? Wow. Oh, is this the fog battle? I haven't shown the fog battle. I'm sure everyone's seen it. No, this is different. Shit, he looks like he's in bad shape. He's limping. That guy's limping. Mount one on your roof. Get the cops called on you. No cover. No cover, no ammo. Bogged down, under artillery fire, getting shot at by snipers. He's alive, but barely. Probably shouldn't zoom in on him. What a pathetic existence. I mean, and honestly though, do you think Putin is gonna, think twice about any of this? He sleeps like a baby. Sleeps like a baby, dude. Oh God, is he gonna die or something? Okay. Every time the camera zooms in on a Russian, I'm like, okay, are they gonna drop a grenade on him? No, that isn't what I'm seeing. No fucking way. Okay. Wow. Wow. Wow, dude. Bogged down. Can't barely move, exhausted, injured, waiting for an evac. Yeah, I can't show any more of this video, but wow. It's just... Okay, so no, those guys were surrendered and they were waiting. I guess waiting for Ukrainians to get there, but a lot of those guys were probably injured. Footage from... So this is that footage I was telling you about from the only road used by the Ukrainian army to enter Bakhmut. And as you can see, things are drying up a bit. Yeah, but I can't show reality. I could if I had big fat juicy tits, I could show those off all day, but I can't show you the reality of the world we live in. Yep, it's all banned. There's no nuance, Daddy Dennis. There's no nuance. I don't know, maybe if I showed you war crimes while sitting in a hot tub, maybe that I can get away with it then. I don't know. Hey, Chad Mary, I appreciate it. The fact is, and I appreciate your enthusiasm. The fact is, though, is that I'm in the market of telling people what they don't want to hear, and that's not very profitable. I will be starting a Patreon, but you know, don't be discouraged if you don't see that meteoric growth, because literally the entire apparatus is against what I'm doing right now. You know, the Twitch, the streaming, the social media, YouTube. Nobody is interested in what I'm trying to do. And I also try to avoid being a fucking chucklehead and just making jokes about the right wing all day. So, tits. Well, I got the hot tub, right? But maybe we can make something work, huh? Oh wait, no, that's not going to work. But no, don't be discouraged if you don't see meteoric growth, because like I said, no one's interested in this content except for people who are actually give a shit. Not a lot of people give a shit though. All right, kiddo. Too far to Canada. Ah, well, better luck next time. Better luck next time. Things are looking drier. It's still slippery and muddy, but things are drying up. Yeah, there's no market. If I was telling people what they want to hear, you know, like the Surfs or Chud Logic, I'd be getting a lot more coverage. You know, if I was doing on-the-ground reporting like Status Coup, I'd be getting more coverage, but no, I got other priorities, right? I got other priorities. Yeah. Thoughts on Haz? I think I've heard a little bit about this Haz drama. I don't know much about it though. Oh shit, still got a battery. I've heard a little about this Haz character. I don't really know much about it though. Ukrainian drones attack and destroy Russian tanks in huge explosions. Just need to sell it. There's more and more people who want to educate and all that. Of course, it's totally doable. Well, thank you, Chad Mary. Was that a human living baby? It is. Yes, this is my child. I've been holding him for about a half hour now. So yeah, these are suicide drones that are going in and detonating once they impact. So that's obviously we're not getting the video. Ooh, he went right into the hole there. The doll looked too real. Set it up. Fuck you, Snowmo, bro. This is not the RPG Lisa. Ooh, that's the most vulnerable part right there, is in the back of the turret. Ooh, right in the hole. Right in the hole. Oh, I don't think he got in the hole that time. Incredible skill. It's unnoticeable. Thank you. He's snoozing. He's sleeping. Oh, that one was moving. There we go. Kamikaze drones. All right, just a couple more. Our last bit of combat footage, and then we'll get a map update and call it a day. Russian tanks rendered helpless by... Oh, wait. Is this the same... This is the same footage. Hold on. Hold on. Let's get some actual combat footage here. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Let's see here. English speaking. Moment of destruction. Here we go. Moment of destruction of the Russian Ka-52 Alligator. Let's see it. Ooh, helicopter. Disaster. Ooh, that is a disaster, dude. That is like a fucking catastrophic failure mid-air. Oh, dude, yeah, that's the rotors blowing up, dude. That's the fucking rotors. Oh, the song is not kidding. Oh, shit, dude. You don't even have time to get the fuck out of there. Context that exclusively focus on gore, which is why games and some other content could probably get leeway. What can you do? All right, let's get our map update from reporting from Ukraine. I assume he's got one, and he does. Man, him and Dennis are just so fucking consistent every single day with a new report. I love it. Ukrainians successfully used new 155 millimeter RAM projectiles. All right. They blew up so the pilots can eject. I think, 5 more seconds, that thing's on the ground. Dude, the rotors blew up. That means it's dropping like a stone. Crew's just going to fall straight down in that hunk of metal. Yeah, dude, that didn't... It's a feature.
Day 389. Today there are a lot of updates from the Donetsk region. Here Russian forces attempted to resume their attacks on Vuhledar. They prepared an assault unit.
Yeah, that can make people nauseous sometimes if they watch other people's first person. Like when I watch pros play Apex Legends, it's too much for me. They're all over the place. I can't even pay attention to the gameplay.
And launched an attack to get a foothold in the village in front of the city.
Right.
But because Ukrainians extensively used RAM projectiles to mine the area, Russian armor exploded, never reaching the predetermined destination, exposing the infantry to fire. Last time I told you that the Russian command decided to replace the Marine Brigade due to the extensive combat losses and poor morale.
Oh, is that why it happened?
Started relocating forces through Volnovakha and Mariupol. I also told you that Ukrainians conducted a series of HIMARS strikes, targeting the means of transportation, as well as air...
Oh, that actually makes perfect sense that the rotors would pop off that way. Because how are you going to eject with the fucking blades of death right above you? So oh, wow. Okay, so maybe that's them engaging the eject mechanism, and that's why the rotors do that. That's why the blades popped off that way. Because it did seem like they just kind of came off. So that's actually a feature. Oh, that's actually really interesting. Works only if no one has made some money with the seeds.
Areas of forces concentrations. The freshest report suggests that this prevented...
Yeah, Chad Mary, Hassan was a celebrity on TYT before he started his own streaming career. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but look, you're not going to get the kind of attention that Hassan gets, because Hassan does 80% gaming, commentary, popular shit, talking about, Elon Musk and shit all day. He doesn't talk about real news. He'll do like one real news story for a couple minutes and then move on to, Twitch drama. So I see what you're saying. But look, just your expectations are way too high. We do real news here, and real news is marginalized. That's why we're the underground. If I did shit like Hassan, it'd be different, but I don't do popular, I don't do fucking pop culture shit. Who fucking cares,
Actions gave results, because Russian forces are still engaging the degraded Marine detachments for conducting assaults in the Vuhledar area. Simultaneously, some Russian sources started circulating a staged video featuring the Marines, who basically said that they would continue to fight until they achieved their objectives. When it comes to the unstaged war footage, it shows that Russian Marines from the 150...
This is some nasty footage right here. This guy, he's like trying to get out and he's having a hard time.
5th Naval Infantry Brigade suffer another defeat in...
Chad Mary, thank you so much. I appreciate your good tips. You got some good tips. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Yet another assault on the eastern hamlet. The main objective was to breach the primary line of defense and re-establish positions in the first several blocks. The ability of Russians to maintain their positions in these ruins is highly doubtful, because both parties shelled this region so heavily that there are only ashes left. In any case, the Marines didn't even get close to the village because they got on a mine. British intelligence reported that Russian advances in this region have slowed down significantly because Ukrainians have successfully adopted remote anti-armor mine systems, or RAM. RAM is a specialist artillery shell that scatters anti-armor mines up to 17 kilometers away from the firing unit.
What?
They noted that Ukrainians are not only launching mines in front of the attackers, but also behind them, which causes disarray when they retreat or just move through the areas that they control. It looks like the Marines in the video tripped exactly this type of mine because they were still far away from Ukrainian positions and were spotted by a Russian drone operator who requested support. Russian military analysts critiqued the inadequate preparation for the assaults. They said that almost all unsuccessful Russian attacks here have been caused by explosions of mines, so a continuous lack of engineer reconnaissance in the Vuhledar area is unthinkable. As a result, the Russian attack failed. The infantry that the vehicle was providing cover had to retreat, and everyone inside the vehicle immediately died, apart from the gunner who managed to get out of the burning vehicle and get to several troops that decided to hide in the trenches. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense recently posted an image, reportedly of a Russian diary found near Vuhledar, that shows huge losses during Russian assaults in the area. The diary details that during assaults over the course of 4 days, only 57 out of the 434 Russian soldiers sent into the battle survived, which is just over a 13% survival rate.
Bananas.
The latest reports from Ukrainian intelligence suggest that Russian forces started summoning recently wounded soldiers and telling them that they would refill the separate 37th Motorized Infantry Brigade for unspecified offensive actions during the last week of March. Overall, the Ukrainian emphasis on mining the approaches to Vuhledar, combined with the continuous failure of Russian forces to implement sound mine-clearing practices, led to extensive losses and inadvertent culmination of the Russian offensive operation. Timely HIMARS strikes on the crucial areas of forces concentrations ensured amplifications of the problems with the replenishment of the reserves, to the extent that Russians started calling up wounded personnel to plug holes in the front. If you're against the...
Looks like, I guess there's just not a lot of movement out of Bakhmut, or else he would have reported on that. And yeah, Woke Patriot and Daddy Dennis, I agree with that. I would be okay if they said, look, you can show the war and, you know, people getting blown up and stuff. But you have to, you know, trigger warning. You got to give people a chance to not watch it if they don't want to see. You can't just surprise them. And I'd be perfectly okay with that. Be like, hey, trigger warning, you're going to see some violent shit here in a second, you know. Perfectly fine with that. Let's go ahead. Last link of the day, Davies link. Context. Yeah, it is important, right? But yeah, this is what it looks like. Okay, thank you for the music. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is them putting the bullets on the belt. Hard work right here. You know, it's a lot of hard work being a soldier. It's a lot. You're digging, you know, if you're not digging a hole, you're fucking, you know, you're doing shit like this. This is like the middle of the fucking night, and here they are cranking away. It's hard ass work being a soldier. Damn, there it goes, man. That's what it looks like. Fuck, that's crazy. Thank you, Davey. Thank you, Davey. All right. I got to give Garbage Feel Awards to a lot of newcomers today and a lot of OGs. Let's get that theme song going. Garbage Feel Award of the day is going to go to all these people. Daddy Dennis, Woke Patriot, Davey, Chad Mary, Line Cut, Chem Goblin, Snowmo Bro, even though he's probably already gone. Davey's going to get 2 because he showed up on D Live. Congrats, Davey. You get 2. And all you other lurkers out there, you know, big props to Lenny. Garbage Feel Award's going to go to Lenny. All you lurkers, much love to the lurkers out there giving me that view. Just checking it out. Function, I think you're pretty cool. I like you, Function. We're going to go ahead and give you Garbage Feel Award. I was liking Function's comments there. S-Turn 42. Big fan of Hitchhiker's Guide. You got to love that. So thank you, S-Turn 42, for your comments. Love to see them. You guys are really smart folks. And you never went live. Yeah, it's Restream. I just got to remove the account and then re-add it. And that'll set up a new key. We'll see. Just news and comments. Maybe bikini. Maybe just nice outfits. We'll see. Big props, everybody. Speaking of being a daddy, here's my son. His name is Zaphoid Beeblebrox. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Big props to everybody here. Thank you also to the contributions in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, it's !Discord. Thank you so much, everybody. Such a cutie, isn't he? Such a cutie. His hair is just like mine. So cute. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Glory to the Ukrainian democracy. And don't forget, folks, if you want to create political change, it's just as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, inform yourself. Step 2, join a progressive political organization in your area. And step 3, take advice from the suffragettes and put it in the motherfucking work. Hit them motherfucking streets. All right? Donate, participate. It's not always fun, but sometimes it is fun, and sometimes it's a lot of fun. At the very least, you'll get your ass out the house. It'll give you something to do. You'll get your ass out the house. Big props, Line Cut, Woke Patriot, Davey. Yeah, you know, that's a good name, Davey. What is that? Is that basically, is it Alex? Alex in alien language? Thank you so much, Line Cut. Very much appreciated. Thank you, Chad Mary. Thank you, Daddy Dennis, and thank you, Chem Goblin. He's in that motherfucking Middle East, y'all. All right, I gotta go feed a stinky boy. I gotta go feed this stinky boy. You guys are great. He sleeps very well. He's a strong boy. I can tell you that. Take him out to 0 degree, snowing and blowing. He's snoozing. Snowing and blowing. He's snoozing. He's a tough ass boy. I can tell you. Real motherfucking fighter right here. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Big props to Shinzu, AK Hazard, 1997, full mixtape. The motherfucking News Underground, y'all. I'm Abandoned Nihilism. Have yourself a good night.
I need a bad fuck a bitch, smoking biscotti and cookie on me. Pop me a bad fuck a bird, she didn't want me, she want me again. If I step out, they want pics, let the law host to the dick like a tick. Send them a bus in the face, I wanted it naughty, but they bought a take off the foo-foo, take off the cookies, take off the Wi-Fi. Take off the phone, take off the car, take off the flex and the white loss. Take off the weird ass jewelry, take it, then I'm taking the top off. Take off the fabricated streams and the microwave means it's a real world outside. Take off the idols. Take off the pilot, take off the Sanzo pay, 5 days, take off the moon, 5 take off the